Today, our honorary guest, is none other than SoCal Crypto. He bought his first Bitcoin in 2013. He's an Army veteran, and he's both a miner and a trader. So I've got a lot to ask him about. SoCal, thanks for joining us today, man. How's it going?
Yeah, man, I'm doing all right, all things considered. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah. We're happy you could, make the time. So I just wanted to ask you a little bit about your background first. How long have you been involved in crypto, and what sort of first got your attention about the space?
Well, I bought my first bit of Bitcoin in the end of 2013. Yeah, he told me about this internet money that drug dealers were using. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Well, I don't have time to worry about that. I got to go back to war now, you know? So
Right.
I kind of just blew it off. And, that's when I first heard about it. And I continually kick myself in the ass every day for just blowing it off way back then. But like I said, I finally got into it end of 2013, and I've been in ever since.
I guess it still is magic internet money, but it seemed a lot less legit at the time, I would imagine. I mean, what did adoption look like compared to right now?
Oh man, a lot more ground. Yeah, pretty much. It was huge, massive news when it broke that Overstock.com started accepting crypto. And then Tiger Direct and Newegg started accepting crypto. Well, Bitcoin at least. And that was huge, big wins. Everybody celebrated that stuff. Now it's just like, yeah, that's nothing, dude. Look, whatever. Because now we're talking ETFs and mutual funds and all sorts of craziness.
Fidelity.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your experience, because I understand, you trade, but you mine as well. I'm kind of curious, so first, how long have you been mining? If you bought your first coins in, the tail end of 2013, did you get pretty serious into mining right away? Did you hold off for a little bit while you sort of learned more about the coins and how they worked and how they were secured and all that?
Oh yeah, no, mining is actually what I jumped into before trading. So that was one of the big draws for me to crypto is, using your idle computer cycles to, CPU or GPU cycles to, basically generate money. It's like, oh man, that is freaking sweet. Cause I've always been in IT related fields and always loved computers and stuff, got my first PC when I was freaking 6. So that was like 94. It was a sweet Windows 95 machine. Had like 800 megabyte hard drive, but anyway, I digress. That's not crypto related. But anyway, so I really got into the mining hard and heavy right off the bat. Okay. And then filtered my way into trading from there. I mean, the trading was interesting because, I dabbled in the stock market and everything prior to crypto.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. But the mining was really the big draw for me. And then it was just, the necessity of the only way to maximize your profit further from mining is to at least become a semi-competent trader.
So can you just tell us a little bit about what your setup looks like when you're mining? I mean, like how many, are you more CPU, GPU? Do you fuck around with ASICs? Not so much.
What does that look like? Fuck ASICs in the ass, dude. No. I am hardcore CPU, GPU.
I'm sorry, I haven't asked.
Yeah. And God willing here, shortly be getting my hands on some FPGAs as well.
I'm just curious what you look for in a project. I mean, like what kind of fundamentals do you want to see when you're considering a new coin, when you have some, some spare processing power that you want to, cash in on?
I like basically ASIC resistant coins, ones with reasonable total supplies and emission rates. Also, mining difficulty is a good thing to look at. as far as, this also, I guess, kind of counts as the emission rate, but how difficult is it going to be, to maintain a level of profitability?
Now, I know you're a huge proof of work proponent. How do you feel about proof of stake?
I think proof of stake as a extra security measure in the via POW POS hybrids. I like it, but as a sole mechanism, no. That's a terrible governance model by itself, for the simple fact that it basically creates a plutocracy, because you got the person who either manages to, if it launches as a POW and then transitions to pure POS, you got somebody who's gonna basically mine rape it and mine the vast majority of coins, and then they will control the network effectively after the POS swap. Or if it's sold off in chunks, and from launch, and then purely POS after that, whoever's got the deepest pockets is going to buy the biggest chunk of coins. And so yeah, as a sole governance model, I'm not down with it.
Okay. All right. Well, this is actually a really good transition to switching off from some of the questions I was asking you to opening up the floor. Bitcoin Maximalist is asking, what would be your biggest recommendations for a newbie who wants to get into mining?
That is a question I get a lot, and unfortunately, there's no good answer, because nobody's ever really taken the time and effort to, put all these resources together in one place. And a lot of these resources I mentioned is just experience, which makes it really hard. So, really, all I would say is, find a POW coin that you want to mine. And I can tell you, every single POW coin will have either a post on the Bitcoin Talk forums, or they will have their own forums with or even embedded in their GitHub or GitLab, whatever, documentation, where they will have step-by-step guides on how to mine the coin. So basically, that's really the best way to learn. Just find a POW coin you're interested in, and then go look for the guide.
This isn't part of Bitcoin Maximalist question, but just sort of as a follow-up, in your experience, if you're mining a proof of work coin, and if you're CPU, GPU, what would you say, like if you're just getting started, is sort of your runway? Like when on average would you say you'll probably break even after putting all the money into building out your basic starter rig?
Oh, yeah. See, again, that goes back to what I discussed earlier when I said profit margins for everybody's subjective. Same thing. Break evens for everybody is entirely subjective. Uh, you might never ROI on some setups. You might, which is really more a function of you quitting before you do ROI, because it's running so inefficient. But that's a hard question to answer, because there's no solid answer to that question, because it totally depends on how much you put into the rig. If you're able to get some stuff off of because from crazy discounts or something, or if you actually had to pay a huge markup on some parts, what your electrical costs are. And if you manage to get in early on a coin that then shoots up, and mine a bunch of coins on a coin, and it shoots up in price, and you're able to sell it for an insane profit, that there's so many different variables that there's no good way to give an answer to that.
Yeah. And I mean, all right. So I don't know if you're aware of Masari, and like, I mean, their report made a lot of waves, what, like a week, 2 weeks ago, when they went to town on Ripple, right? And they were getting in the weeds. I mean, they weren't even just talking about the market cap versus the reported market cap. They were talking about, and I glanced at it, but I didn't read the full thing. it was the lockup periods that some of the founders and then some of the other people who've worked on the team are involved in, you know, how long their coins are locked up, how much XRP is locked versus what's been reported and what's been understood. I don't know if you were familiar with that at all.
Oh yeah, I love it because I am a very, very huge cripple criticizer. I am not a fan of Cripple, and I have made it well known that I do not like Cripple, and it's a fucking scam. In fact, this is great you asked me about that, because I was just about to use an example of people who don't understand simple things like market caps and how that works, because all these crippled idiots that are, you know, saying, you know, oh, it's the next one world money and it's going to overtake Bitcoin and it's going to be worth $589. It's like, do you understand that they have an unlimited supply? Like, that would never happen. Somebody actually worked the math on it, and it is physically impossible for Ripple to ever get to $500, because it would require more money than exists in the entire world to get the market cap of Ripple up high enough to where Ripple was worth $500 a piece. It is physically freaking impossible. Oh God, cripple idiots are dumbasses, man. And so yeah, listen, that's a hard stance I'm taking.
You're drawing the line. Yeah.
Well, how about this? If anybody who is listening to this is a math major or mathematician or anything like that, if you could run the numbers, run the math for us on how much money it would actually take to get Ripple up to $500 a freaking coin, I'd appreciate it.
All right, the challenge is out. Let's see what y'all got. Vindine8 is wondering, it's a pretty broad question, but how do you see the crypto market playing out through the rest of 2019?
First off, going to disclaim, not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, planner, nothing like that. So I'm going to disclose that right off the bat.
Sure.
But my personal opinion is that, you know, obviously everything's always in flux and the circumstances are always changing. So this is obviously subject to change, but I'm hoping for a reversal mid to late this year. But I'll play it a little bit safer and still prepare for a little while of the bear market. You know, I'm not going to get my hopes up yet, because what a lot of people are glossing over is that 2016 was actually like the beginning of the bull market. However, it was a very slow tick up the entire year. And then it was 2017 when everything went apeshit and a whole bunch of money rushed in and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But, so I think we're going to see a repeat of that, of the slow grind up, before we see, you know, crazy parabolic movements. And we might not even see as crazy of movements as we have before. I definitely think it's going to start out with a slow grind up that might take a year or two before we start, you know, getting close to the 20,000 level again.
Well, listen, thank you so much, SoCal. Listen, it's been great having you on. Cryptocopia thanks you. Listen, y'all, we're going to have plenty more AMAs just like this, you know, one next week unannounced, but we're doing weekly sessions. So stay tuned. SoCal Crypto, you can find him on Twitter. It's SoCal_crypto. Is that right?
Yes. At SoCal_crypto. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, yeah, definitely check him out. Dropping knowledge left and right. Thank you again for joining us. That's about it, but we'll see y'all next week. And SoCal, have a great night, man. Take it easy.
You too, guys. Thanks for having me on.